So let's look a little bit deeper into the resources section of the ARM template. Like I said in the last video, this really is where a lot of the work gets done. Let's break out, there's multiple resources that are inside this template. Let's break this down into them. So I'm going to select the first resource. This first resource says type Microsoft.network/network interfaces. So this is a network interface card. It takes the name of the interface card from the parameters file. It has some pretty static code for API version. The location is the same as the region that we passed in the parameters. Remember, we actually have the tags when we were creating this resource in the portal. We assigned a tag to it, and that tag is part of the deployment. Now, a network interface card has an IP address, and so the IP address is being set up in the next property here, IP configuration. There's the IP address being created. Okay, going down, it's giving the network security group an NSG ID. And the last section might be what really signifies how this gets created, because this network interface card actually depends on other resources being there first. The virtual network has to exist before the NIC card, the public IP address has to exist, and the network security group. So all three are dependencies, and those three have to be created before the NIC card can get created. In fact, if we go to the very next resource, which is a smaller one, it's the network security group, one of the ones that is a dependency for the network security, the network interface card. Now, network security group is a lot simpler. It just requires the location, it passes the tags, and it has rules that are being passed in, which are basically the default rules with the RDP. I think we have RDP, HTTP, and HTTPS open as well. The VNet is also a section, Microsoft.network/virtual networks. Okay, so this is basically just in JSON format. All of the choices that we made in the portal actually become, they get translated into these JSON statements, and this is what gets executed even within the portal. So really what we're seeing is a reflection of what we created. Now what Microsoft wants us to do, you're going to find on the test that ARM templates are actually a big part of the test. They certainly were a part of 7533. And there's no reason why Microsoft is going to continue talking about ARM templates, because they really think that's the backbone of managing resources within Azure, is understanding this language and being able to edit it. So it is within your best interest that you start to create these ARM templates for all of the resources. So when you're in the Azure portal creating resources, as a learning exercise, you should go grab the ARM template. I showed you how to do that by downloading the deployment after the deployment's been made. And it should make logical sense what's happening here. So this public IP address, why the tags are there, why it's in the location it is, why the IP address name, and which of the IP address SKUs is being created, right? These are all parameters that are being passed in to create the IP address. Now, creating a virtual machine is actually quite complex, because even if you did it with PowerShell, you need to make multiple PowerShell statements in order to gather all of the resources that are required to create a virtual machine. So the virtual machine, I'm going to scroll down here. The dependency is on the network interface, and the network interface had 3 other dependencies, if you recall. We also have the schedule. Remember, we set this up with a shutdown time. We wanted this to shut down. Let's see what's in the parameters. So if I go into the parameters, network security rules, I bet you we can find that we said it was like 5 p.m. So here's the shutdown time, 1700 hours Eastern Standard Time. Okay, we don't want to be notified, and we want it, notification, if it would be in English. So you can see here 5 parameters having to do with the auto shutdown specifically, which we defined when we were setting up this virtual machine. And so the auto shutdown is a whole resource that needs to be created as well. So definitely we want you to go through ARM template samples. I'm going to link you to, actually in the next video, I'm going to show you the ARM templates that are available in GitHub. That's also a good place to start. And again, we need to get into actually making changes to this, and then we can deploy this. Let's say we deploy this into a different region with our changes, and it should work. So let's do that.